Alrighty, everybody. Welcome back for round two. We're going to be doing some more coverage here. I ended up waking up and I saw that we had a tornado warning here a minute ago. And I was like, yeah, we probably should probably go live. Thankfully, it's canceled since then. But the weather has been still doing some stuff here. We just had this pretty nasty little set of storm roll through areas just southeast of Shreveport. So, anyways, everybody, hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone is doing good. I figured we're gonna do a little bit of nocturnal coverage tonight. So, anyways. But yeah, you guys be sure to be safe out there. I mean, this threat, like we mentioned earlier, it's going to continue to progress. Into the overnight hour here, or I said hour, overnight hours. So we'll definitely keep an eye out there for it. So we still do have the tornado watch in effect. This expires in 3 hours here, which that includes the yellow polygon areas here, which includes like central, northern Louisiana, kind of central southern Mississippi here, where that does exist. So that is that. So we're gonna have that tornado watch for a little bit, and there could be potentially some tornadic activity here. That could still continue on into the overnight. So especially nighttime, man, it's very vulnerable at nighttime because, I mean, first of all, you can't really see much, of anything going on out there. But also because, a lot of people go to sleep at this time. So, anyways, what's up, K-Jack? Good to see you, dude. Saying hi, Andrew. What's up, dude? What's up, Carrot? Good to see you. Saying, yeah, the HRRR has a little bit more explosive development east of the storms currently happening, so we'll see. Yeah, like I said, I ended up waking up like probably, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes ago or so. And I saw that we actually had that tornado warning in Shreveport. And apparently, it actually materialized. Like, apparently, it actually dropped. And that's why I was like, yeah, I probably need to go back live here. So here we are. Here we are at the really early morning. Anyways, let's actually look at the models here. I do want to see the latest guidance here, because I remember when we were looking at models earlier, it was actually showing that like the lower level winds here would actually increase, around the overnight hours, like right now. So we'll also pull up the meso analysis here in 1 second here. But anyway, so let's pull up the precipitation type reflectivity here. Let's see, we are on the 06 UTC run here. So that is what we got going on there. Let's see. So right now it is 2:30 a.m. All right, so you can kind of see we have the main line kind of firing off here, which if it brings up like radar, you can kind of see where that's out. That's out there for like southwestern Louisiana here. So the models, they kind of have that line, really continuing on here for the next couple of hours here. It does show actually some pretty good organization here. I mean, this goes all the way up until like 7 a.m. or so before it kind of breaks up into just kind of a bunch of clustered storms here. But I mean, even then, I should say today, later on today, like throughout the afternoon and stuff, I mean, we're still likely going to have a little bit of storm activity popping off into the afternoon here in the evening. Which, got to remember here, once again, that the SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, they actually put a level. Let's see here. they actually put a level 2 risk here for severe weather here. Which, there you go. So we actually have a level 2 threat, which that includes a 5% chance for tornadoes here for kind of central southern Alabama, which once again that includes Montgomery. So we got to keep an eye out there for that. So, and of course we have the 2% risk that now actually extends into the Atlanta, Georgia area. Actually included Macon now in the 2%. We got a little bit of Panhandle, Florida included. See New Orleans, Hattiesburg, Mobile, Alabama. So yeah, we got to watch out for that. Still got a 15% wind risk here. Could see some gusts between upwards of 60 to 70 miles an hour, and no hail threat actually. So yeah, later on today, it's going to be mostly a concern for tornadoes and damaging winds here. Let's see here. It's very windy in Houston. Well, I think a lot of the activity is rolling through. Here, let me actually go ahead and we'll bring up the radar out there, kind of see what's going on. So Houston, yeah, you're kind of on the backside. You can see here. So there's Houston, right there, and you can see that line is mostly just here east of Houston. But yeah, your threat's pretty much over with. Yeah, we weren't really expecting. We did have that marginal risk out there for Houston, but yeah, the main line is already kind of passing, or kind of already passed through that area. Anyways, but like I said, we're just gonna keep an eye out there for Louisiana here. Like I said, I wanted to go live here. Yeah, after I saw those after I saw that tornado warning pop up and stuff like that. So I just wanted to hop on here for a little bit with y'all. Here, let's hop back over to this view for a moment. Looks like we actually got a special weather statement here on this storm here. This one's up in, it's actually just northwest of Baton Rouge. This is a special weather statement here. Let's see here for 40 mile an hour wind gust expires in 31 minutes. So a little bit of gusty winds can be expected here with that storm. All right, let's actually hop back to the scene here. I do want to look at the meso-analysis here again. Yeah, because like I was saying, the models, they really showed the lower level wind shear. Ooh, yeah, look at that. That's actually increased quite a bit since yesterday here. Or since, yeah, when we streamed last, still looks like we have a pretty good amount of instability. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Like, if we pull up the instability here, you can still see it. We have pockets of almost 2,000 mixed layer cape there, so there's still a pretty good little pocket of instability there. But yeah, the lower level jet now is like 30 knots. It was at 25 knots earlier. Now we're talking about 30, maybe 35 knots of lower level wind shear. Now, as the time goes on, you can see that we actually develop a 35 knot area there. So the lower level winds in the atmosphere, roughly about 5,000 feet or so, are going to be increasing in intensity over the next several hours, which that might actually increase the tornado probability. We'll have to see. I mean, pretty good instability, pretty good, kinematics here. So there's your lower levels. Then we have our mid levels, which, yeah, it's off a little bit, so it's not quite perpendicular, but there is some veering motion going on there. So there is some change in wind direction between our lower and our mid atmosphere here, which is what you need for tornadic activity and stuff. So let's see here. Do they have temperature and stuff on here? Surface observations here. Let's see. Yeah, dew points out here in the 70s. Looks like you can see that's really quite high. 60, 70-degree dew point is where you want your dew point temperatures here during like severe weather and stuff. It's supplying a pretty good amount of moisture to these storms here. Yeah. We're talking like lower 70s in some spots, like actually for a lot of these areas here, which is pretty impressive, especially for wintertime. All right, well, let's hop on back over here. We're going to switch back to the radar here. Thankfully, we actually have a little bit of better radar coverage now. At least where the storms are at, it's more manageable. Like comparing to earlier, whenever we got off here, it's like we had that storm up in northeast Louisiana here. And it's like it literally was kind of running away from the radars, making it a little bit difficult. But yeah, the main thing right now, I think the main line we need to keep, really pay attention to is right here. Is the one out here by like D. Ritter. And like we mentioned, storms can pop up pretty quickly. Let's see here. Let's see here. Andrew says, "Is there still a tornado threat?" Yeah, that's going to persist for a while. And like we just mentioned here a little bit ago, we still do have tornado watch in effect here. Like if I bring up the here, let's get rid of the thing there. So if you hop over here, you can actually see this yellow area. So this is where we have a tornado watch in effect for like the next 2-3 hours or so. So that includes for central Louisiana and kind of southern and central Mississippi here, which includes areas like Jackson, Mississippi, and of course we do have like Nacogdoches, Louisiana here. Also like Vicksburg and Notches, and so we'll definitely keep an eye on it. Yeah, the threat still does persist. Yeah, but it's definitely starting to kind of pull together a little bit. Yeah, let's try KPOE. It's kind of that radar's or that storm's right over that area, so not really seeing any little couplets or anything like that develop here, which is good for now. But like we mentioned, guys, these things can pop up quick. They can pop up in a matter of a minute or so. So we definitely got to keep an eye on it. Let's see. Carrot says, "Don't know." Let's see here. Don't know they're using special weather statements. I've been using them all day. Huh. Interesting. Maybe in a couple hours, the storms might get even more aggressive. Yeah, that's what I'm a little bit concerned about. Given the like the kinematics and the thermodynamics that we're talking, like instability, good instability, increasing wind shear could definitely contribute to more activity here. Here, I do want to bring you guys over here to these models here in 1 second. Actually, you know what? I'll just bring them down to you guys. Here we go. Oops. There we go. But yeah, like I said, those dew points, man, they are really high. You can see we're talking like 71, 72, maybe even locally 73-degree dew points, which, once again, for wintertime, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. You can see the cold air mass smacking through. You can see it coming down. Quite a decent little setup here. Here, let me bring up the NAM. So yeah, then you can see the lower level jet. There increases there over the next several hours. And still at that point, we do have a decent amount of instability. Enough to get the job done here. Let's grab a sounding in southwest Alabama here. Yeah, I mean, so first thing I notice here is that, I mean, first of all, we do have some pretty dry mid upper atmosphere levels here. Upper 60 dew points. Wind shear looks good here. Look at that column. And one of the things I do want to point out is like the veering wind shear, which you can see in the lower atmosphere, like by the surface. The winds are kind of going like this, so they are kind of moving here to the northeast. And as we go up in altitude, or they're more kind of going to the northeast in the lower atmosphere. But as we go up in altitude, you see that the wind direction changes more to the northeast. So there is a bit of a change in that wind direction. You know, there's a bit of veering winds. You know, and not to mention, like we mentioned here too, is you can see that, you know, based off of these barbs here, that the wind speeds are increasing with altitude. So you can see, you know, down towards the surface, we'll say 850 millibars, I guess. You know, we have a wind barb of about, what, 40 knots or so. And as we go up to mid levels, you can see that that increases to about 65 knots right here. Because we got a flag, you know, a half and a whole there. So, yeah, the wind shear definitely seems to be increasing quite a bit here. So, all right, let's see. We'll actually zoom out here a little bit. See what can help overcome those drier mid-level dew points. I don't know what you mean by that. Here, we'll grab some more soundings here. Let's just kind of look around. I mean, yeah, you can see that the mid levels are pretty dry here, which is definitely interesting. But you know, typically when you have like a pretty dry mid level atmosphere, you know, associated with a pretty good amount of instability or fuel, it could actually become a decent hail concern. You know, give or take that you have a strong vertical wind shear and stuff like that too. But yeah, the way it looks here, I mean, we're going to be pretty set on instability and stuff. So right now we're kind of in a high instability, lower wind shear environment. And in a couple of hours, it's going to be kind of a trade-off. You know, trading between high instability, low wind shear, or lower wind shear, to lower instability, higher wind shear. Because I mean, models really show quite a strong jet over here. I mean, like, I'm curious to see just kind of where some of the strongest wind shear is, just to kind of see what a sounding looks like in this area. Yeah, pretty impressive, actually. Oh, there's a tornado warning? Is there? Oh, yeah. There it is. Oh, buddy. That's actually near Jackson, Mississippi, just south of Jackson, Mississippi. Yep, there it is. You can see that rotation there. All right, so that is in Mississippi, everybody. So that includes Sontag. Let's see here. Wanilla includes Oma, Rockport, Georgetown, Shivers, Panola, and New Hebron. You can see where that rotation is right there. That is where that rotation is currently at here. This is scanning about 3,000 feet up here, so it's, you know, fairly close to the surface. It's not too far away, thankfully. At least we got a little bit better radar coverage on that one. Let's see what the other one shows here. This is 4,000 feet up, but yeah, you can also see it on the other radar here too. So yeah, heads up everybody to those areas. You know, this rotation is like tracking right towards Sontag. As of right now, I don't see any debris on radar. No debris signatures. So right now it is a radar indicated threat here. Yeah, you know what? That's actually some pretty decent rotation, it looks like. You know, it was actually confirmed by both of those radars there. But yep, that's tracking right towards Sontag, Wanilla, and Oma, Mississippi here. So Also, areas included is like Rockport, Shivers, New Hebron, Georgetown, and Panola. You guys are in that here. See, 1:37 a.m. Central Standard Time. A severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near East Lincoln or near Brookhaven, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. See here, radar indicated rotation. So yeah, if you guys are in this area here, once again, this is Mississippi. This is out here towards southern Mississippi. This includes Sontag, Wanilla, Oma, Rockport, Shivers, New Hebron, Georgetown, and Panola. Just be sure that you guys are inside of your safe spots. If you have a basement or a storm shelter, go there now. So just be sure that you guys are in your safe spots. If you have if you have that, then go there. But if you're in a mobile home or a trailer, just leave and go find a sturdier structure, because unfortunately, they don't really provide really good shelters. So it's definitely advised that you guys go find somewhere else if you're in a trailer. So yeah, you can see where that rotation's at. It's right in here. This is where we have a little bit of a couplet. By the way, Carrot, thanks for letting me know, dude. I was kind of sidetracked with the models and stuff there. So I really appreciate it. All right. Yeah, and on top of that, we could see maybe some 0.75 inch hail, which that's kind of least of your all's concern here. But they do actually have a little bit of a hail marker on it. I mean, nothing big, but yeah, I mean, hail really isn't a big problem until like you exceed quarter size hail. Once you're at 1 inch in diameter and greater, that's when hail starts to become a bit of a problem. In which we're actually sub that, so that's good. Uh-oh. Oh. I don't know what the heck just happened there, but everything froze. Oh no. I think we lost our main radar here. All right, well, let me restart that radar. I don't know what happened. Did you all see that? Everything locked up for a minute. I genuinely think my computer crashed and I was about to like scream. Because no, my luck, that's what would happen. All right, well, let's bring up this radar again here. There we go. Back in action. But once again, everybody, this includes Sontag, Wanilla, Oma, Rockport, Shivers, New Hebron, Panola, and Georgetown, Mississippi here, which this is actually directly south of Jackson, Mississippi here. You can see there's Jackson right there. Directly to the south is where that tornado warning is. So, just be sure that you guys are in your safe spots. Once again, basement, storm shelter, if you have one, go there now. If you do not, go to the central interior portion on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. And, once again, if you're in a mobile home, a trailer, ditch the trailer, go find a sturdier structure, maybe, just like a nearby building or something that you can get to. It would be heavily recommended because, once again, unfortunately, mobile homes just really aren't good at protection, against these kind of storms here. So it would definitely be quite recommended that you guys do that. But yeah, you can see that rotation southwest of Sontag. It's actually going right towards Sontag. It's going to be passing likely kind of right between Sontag and Wanilla. So we do need everybody on alert here. Now, looking at the correlation coefficient, looking for debris, I don't see any obvious debris signatures right now, which is good. But like I said, we can't wait till this is confirmed. We got to be treating, tornado radar indicated or a tornado warning that's radar indicated or a tornado warning that's radar confirmed. We need to treat them both equally, confirmed or not, because tornadoes can quickly happen, in a matter between radar scans. Like I was saying, radar scans typically occur between 3 to 5 minutes. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes for a new radar update. And, the thing is that a lot can happen in that 3 to 5 minutes. So right now, while the radar probably doesn't show anything right now on the ground, the thing is that it could be developing. And by the time of the last frame, a lot could have already happened. So that's why it's very important that we still, get in our safe spots here. But yep, that's out there by Sontag. I really do believe that over the next several hours, I think that things could really start to increase here, in activity. I hate to say it, given the time frame and everything, it being overnight. But I mean, just given like the models we were just looking at here, I mean, there's a lot of moisture. 70-degree dew points really is pretty impressive for this time of the year. We got great moisture. We have really good instability here. And of course, like I said, we do have a lot of decent wind shear as well. So, what's up, Black Label? Good to see you. Saying Happy New Year, Andrew. It's a late one tonight. Yeah, you as well, dude. And it sure is. I was doing coverage earlier, and like I said, I woke up. I went to bed, and I woke up, and I saw that there was that tornado warning up in northwestern Louisiana here, not too long ago. And I was like, yeah, we better go live here. So, decided to hop back on here for y'all. But anyways, everybody, so if you're just tuning in, we have a tornado warning that's in effect for southern Mississippi. Once again, here's Jackson. This is just south of Jackson, Mississippi. This includes the following cities: Sontag, Winilla, Oma, Rockport, New Hebron, Shivers, Panola, and Georgetown. So those areas here in the state of Mississippi, southern Mississippi, those are in the tornado warning here. So be sure that you guys are in your safe spots. Rotation right now, you can kind of see here from the latest radar image is pretty much just southwest of Sontag by a couple of miles here. So be sure that you are in your safe spots here. And like I said, first up is Sontag and Winilla. You guys are like kind of in the direct line of fire here from this right now. Like I said, we're going to be peeking into, the correlation coefficient here every once in a while here, too. I don't see any debris signatures right now. I'll also mention, this is scanning about 2,500 feet up. So, most tornadic activity would shoot debris that high. But still, like I said, we just got to watch it. Ooh, you know what? That's actually gotten pretty strong. Look at that. Here, let's hop over to the other radar. Let's check on this guy. This one's a little bit further away, but it's another view. Ooh, wow. Yeah, look at that. So that right there, that's what we call a couplet. It's a velocity couplet, which is really, really kind of nasty looking here. So this warning, by the way, guys, will expire here at 2:45 a.m. Central Standard Time. So that's about 55 minutes from now. So we still got a while on that tornado warning there. And like I said, we also got to keep an eye on these other cells here too. I'm going to briefly hop back to Louisiana for a minute, just to kind of check, see if anything's popping up here. I think we look pretty good. I don't see anything big and crazy going on in that line, which is good. But I do really want to watch that line as well. I think that could be a bit of a concern overnight. Let's see here. Yeah, goodness. But like I said, guys, just be sure that you're in your in your safe spot. If you have a basement, a storm shelter, then yeah, that's obviously the place you want to go. But if not, once again, central interior portion of the lowest floor of your home. So kind of like an area such as an interior closet. That'd be a good place to be. Just somewhere in the middle of your home on the lowest floor and away from windows is what we recommend. Maybe even like a bathroom, or you guys know your all's house layouts and stuff, so you can kind of picture where that best place would be. And like I said, just make sure you're there. I'll let you guys know when the all clear is given. But for right now, the warning expires naturally at 2:45 Central Time. So that's in, like I said, a little bit about 55 minutes or so. So yes, we still have a little bit to go on that warning there. So Yeah, but that rotation definitely looks pretty decent. Definitely isn't half bad looking. Still not seeing any debris signatures, which is good. And, like I said, guys, if you're just tuning in here, I mean, tornado confirmed or not, if it's a radar indicated tornado warning, if it's a radar confirmed tornado warning, you just need to be in your safe spot regardless, because a lot can happen in a few minutes. And given radar updates, once again, it takes about 3 to 5 minutes for a new radar scan to come through. And a lot can happen in 3 to 5 minutes, believe me. Nature is pretty quick at doing some things. So that's why it's really important. All right, so they actually just updated the polygon here. They actually took out Georgetown. Georgetown, Mississippi, you guys are now good to come out of your shelter. It looks like the storm is going to actually miss you guys, which is good. However, the tornado warning is still in effect for the following cities in southern Mississippi. Once again, just south of Jackson. Right here, here's Jackson, Mississippi, just south. The following cities includes Winilla, Sontag, Oma, Rockport, Shivers, New Hebron, and Panola. So we just need to make sure you guys are in your safe spots there. Yeah, dude, look at that rotation. It's actually getting quite nasty looking. Looks like that rotation's going right towards Winilla. So if you're not in your shelter, you need to get there. Yeah, I mean, at this point in time, kind of like the models were suggesting here, our winds, our lower level winds are going to be increasing over the next couple of hours, throughout this region here. So that might actually allow for a little bit more greater activity here over the next little bit. So that's why it's really important that we need to be here for you guys. And by the way, everybody, if you all have any questions at all, do not hesitate to ask here. We'll be more than happy to help you guys out. So once again, everybody, tornado warning in effect for Sontag, Winilla, Oma, Rockport, Shivers, New Hebron, as well as Panola here in south, kind of southern Mississippi here. I mean, like I mentioned, both radars do show a pretty good amount of rotation within the storm here. Here's the Hammond, Louisiana radar, showing that rotation there. And then we got the Brandon radar is the closest one, which you can see right there. So they both do show pretty decent rotation. Let's see. What's up, Aaronola? Hope you're doing good. Saying, hey, and good morning. Or good evening / morning, y'all. Checking in from Covington, Louisiana. Good to see you, my friend. Here, let me check Covington for you. I'm not sure if you're in the line of fire of these. Here we go. I think you're okay. Yeah, so you're over this way. Yeah, right now you're pretty good. Right now you're pretty good from what the everything looks at right now. Let's see here. What's up, Nip? Good to see ya. Dude, look at that rotation, man. That is quite impressive. That is definitely quite impressive here. I mean, you can see where that rotation is right here. I mean, that's going right to Winilla. I mean, that is going right to Winilla here. See that town in Mississippi? I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Hebron or Hebron. Is it? Like LeBron James? I'm gonna try to remember that. Knowing me, I probably am gonna forget it. New Hebron. New Hebron. Got it. But yeah, the rotation right now, y'all, is right up on Winilla. Mississippi here. So that rotation is likely going to just pass east of Sontag. You had a nice drencher earlier. Yeah, you guys got hit really hard. A lot of people got a lot of rain from this event here. Not only that, that tornado threat, the wind damaging hail threat here for today, but also we have a pretty decent flooding concern too. I mean, given that some areas were expected to see like 3 to 5 inches stuff, so it's definitely been pretty nasty. But like I said, guys, if you're just now tuning in, we have a tornado warning in effect here for southern Mississippi. This includes Wanilla, Sontag, Oma, Rockport, Shivers, Panola, and New Hebron. I think that's how you say it. What was it? I'm gonna try to remember. I'm gonna try to remember that. But yeah, the rotation is right over Wanilla right now. Looking at correlation coefficient, once again, I still do not see any signs of debris signatures. So I don't see any confirmation from radar. But once again, regardless, you still need to be in your safe spot. Sometimes it takes a minute for radar to pick up, on it. In which, by then it could already be too late. So just be sure that you're in your safe spot. And don't wait till something is confirmed. Okay. Yeah, I know, unfortunately, a lot of people who would ignore it until something happens, which I get it. But it's not the safe thing to do. It's just good just to be in your safe spot until the storm passes. It's very important. What's up, Dreamer? Good to see you. Saying hi. Bedtime for a tornado. Yeah, it sure is. And that's one of the bad things, about like nighttime storms. And I mean, you got a lot of people who are like going to sleep at this time, and you got, the visibility is like 0. First of all, I mean, during some of these storms, they could be rain wrapped, meaning that if a tornado was to happen, there could actually be curtains of rain that wrap around the tornado. I mean, making it impossible to see even during the daytime. So having that on top of the nighttime, the pitch black, is going to make it pretty impossible to see. So that's another thing. It's just don't wait to see it or hear it before you take action. That is not what you should do. You need to be in your safe spot right now, regardless. That last frame looks pretty nasty though. All right, so we're gonna keep a close eye on this here. Let's try our other radar here. We're back in Hammond, Louisiana here. Let's see if we see anything. Yeah, this the storm is pushing away from that radar and actually getting closer to our Brandon radar. So that's going to be our best one we need to look at here. But once again, the tornado warning includes, this is for South Mississippi, y'all, directly south of Jackson. You guys can see Jackson, Mississippi right here. So south of Jackson, like I mentioned, this includes Sontag, Wanilla, Oma. Actually, let's redo that because they just updated the polygon. So it no longer includes Sontag, but still includes Wanilla, Oma. Let's see, Rockport's no longer included. Shivers is included. Panola is included. And of course, New Hebron. Is that how you say it? Yeah, New Hebron. You guys are still in that tornado warning. So, like I said, what I need you guys to do is, if you have a basement or a storm shelter, go there now. Don't waste any time. Go straight to your storm shelter. But if you do not have a basement or a storm shelter, then go to the central interior portion on the lowest floor of your home. Like we mentioned, kind of an interior room, such as a closet, a bathroom, an area with no windows is where you'd want to go. So that is that. New scan came through. Still really heavy rotation going on in that storm. Still no confirmation as of right now, but still, regardless of confirmation, we still need to be in our safe spots here. So it actually looks like that rotation is tracking towards New Hebron. So we do need to keep an eye out there for that. Yeah, it looks like that rotation might just pass south of Oma. So we'll definitely be monitoring that. But yeah, just make sure you guys are still in your shelter. New Hebron. Okay, thanks, Terry. I appreciate it. I'll try to remember it. Once again, like I said, if you guys are new here, you'll figure out real quick that I'm bad with names, people names, and town names. So not the best when it comes to that, but. All right, let's take a look here. We're going to hop back to Louisiana for 1 second. Like I said, we have another line over here that I want to keep an eye on, too. Quick little pass. Doesn't look like we have much rotation anywhere going on here. I do want to watch this line here. So, Aranola says, I'm so appreciative that you use the radar to share with us, Andrew. Yeah, of course. Like I said, we're here to help you guys. We're here to make sure y'all are staying safe and weather aware. That's the main thing here. Just keeping you guys up to date with everything. So rotation's now passing Wanilla. Still need you guys in your safe spots here. Right now, it still is a radar indicated threat, meaning that radar has picked up rotation within the storm, which we can obviously see here. This right here, this is rotation going on within the storm. So, I mean, obviously we have really, really good rotation with the storm here, but hopping back to correlation coefficient, there is I do not see any debris signatures, but cannot stress it enough. Can't say it enough times. Regardless, confirmed or not, you still need to be in your safe spot, and all that because once again, radar takes 3 to 5 minutes to update, typically. And a lot can happen in 3 to 5 minutes, believe it or not. So definitely really, really important, that we do still be in our shelters here regardless. So that includes Wanilla, Oma, let's see, Shivers, as well as Panola here included as well. And New Hebron, you guys are included. Also in that tornado warning there. So we have this in effect until 2:45. So we have about 41 minutes left before the warning expires. So still got a little bit of time. Actually, look at that. There's actually a little bit of a hook you can kind of see resembling. Let's see here. Emily says, when will this pass through Georgetown? So the good news is that they actually discontinued the warning for Georgetown. So we're not expecting the tornado to impact Georgetown area. So you can see actually the storm, if we play it in motion, there's Georgetown right here. The storm is actually going off to the east here. So you're good. You're good in Georgetown. Initially, when the warning came out at first, they included that area. But now, since the storm is tracked a little further, we know exactly where it's going to be. And it's going to be outside of those areas, so don't worry out there. You'll be good. But like we mentioned, some of those eastern areas still, Shivers, Panola, New Hebron, Wanilla, and Oma, you still need to be in your safe spot. Now, actually, the storm is pulling out of Wanilla right now. The rotation already went directly over that area. So that's that. But yeah, but when it comes to Georgetown, though, you guys are good. See, with the front pushing, is it all going to push southward? It's kind of moving southeastward for the most part. We have the storms that are kind of tracking northeast, but the whole front is moving southeast, if that makes sense. A little bit of different motion vectors going on in there. So yeah, I hope people are aware. Yeah, me too. It's why it's really important if you guys could maybe consider sharing this here too. That way we can help keep people informed here. I hate it, especially at nighttime. It's just really, really difficult. Oh my gosh, dude, I got scared. Car, thank you for that. Bro, I have my volume so loud, dude. Let me turn that down right now. That was way too loud. Oh my goodness, well, that got my heart going. Holy cow. I still wake up. Whew. I'm ready to do more coverage. But thank you, Car. I really appreciate it, dude. Thank you for that. But anyway, so yeah, let's hop back over here to velocity. You can still see that rotation. Right now, the rotation's between Wanilla and New Hebron. Emily says thank you. Yeah, of course, no problem. You're very welcome. But like I said, we still got to continue monitoring the threat here over the next couple of hours. And like I said, unfortunately, like the way that models are projecting the system over the next couple of hours, it seems like we might have an increase in activity. I hate to say it, but it seems like it because we're going to have an increasing amount of lower level winds. Those lower level winds, which are really a key component for tornadic activity, are going to increase, as this continues moving eastward. So that's a concern, with the increasing wind shear. And on top of that, we're still going to have a pretty good amount of instability. The fuel in the atmosphere is still going to be pretty heavy, as well as the moisture. The dew point temperatures are in the 70s, which is, once again, really impressive for this time of the year. So, got to keep an eye out there for that. So the conditions for tornadic activity seems to increase actually over the next several hours. So we got to really look out for that. All right. So yeah, right now the rotation is directly between Winilla and New Hebron. So Winilla, you guys are outside of the storm. You guys are pretty much good at this point in time. You're still in the polygon, and like I said, the way it works for me is if you're in the polygon, you still need to be in your safe spot. So even though Winilla is out of the storm, I still want you guys to be in your safe spot just until the polygon does get expired here. Same thing for Oma. I mean, I think you guys are going to be pretty good. But definitely areas like New Hebron. I mean, the rotation is kind of tracking directly towards that area here. So New Hebron, once again, please be in your shelter. Basement storm shelter, if you have one, get in there. If you do not, central interior portion on the lowest floor, of a sturdy building here is definitely recommended. So, and then once again, like I said, if you're in a basement or a storm shelter, it's advised to, if you're in a, I said that wrong. If you're in a mobile home or a trailer, that's what I was to say, then be sure to go find a sturdier structure because, like I said, unfortunately, it's not really not particularly too much of a good spot to be at, essentially. So, anyways. And but like I said, everybody, if y'all have any questions or anything like that too, be sure to let us know. Like I said, we're here for you guys. We want to keep y'all weather aware and prepared. It's definitely important to be continually actively weather aware, especially at nighttime. Where it's harder to see things and stuff like that. And for future references, guys, if you do not have a weather radio, I would highly recommend getting one day. You can find them. I think you can buy them at Walmart, whatever. Because you could set them to basically scream at you if there is a warning in place for your area. That way you can keep it on, and if you do have a warning, like a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning or something like that at night, if you have it on, it'll kind of wake you up, or it will wake you up with the noise, and that way it'll ensure that you guys are ready, and you can get up and go and take action. But still got that rotation going on here. It's like I said, shooting right towards New Hebron. So we're keeping a close eye on that here. Hopping back over to CC, still no debris signature. So it's still a radar indicated threat, but still, once again, regardless, radar indicated, radar confirmed, it don't matter. You still need to be in your safe spot. Let's see here. CB Mama, thank you for the Tropical Storm membership. I appreciate it, my friend. That is greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you for joining the team. It means a lot. Definitely helps us out a ton. So thank you so much for that. Big shout out goes to ya, CB Mama. Thank you so much. All right, so let's see here. But yeah, at this point in time, Oma and Winilla, I think you guys are pretty good here. This thing will likely just pass south of Panola as well. Carmedic says, could we see a tornado? With this storm, it's very possible, yeah. We have the tornado warning out there for a reason because the radars are picking up rotation within the storm here. So it certainly is possible, that we could see a tornadic activity out of the system here, of course. And also, kind of given the environment that it's in, pretty good wind shear, increasing wind shear, decent instability, great moisture content. It's in an environment where tornadoes are certainly possible. Let's see here. I'm in the northern part of the storm. It's a nasty one. Well, be careful, dude. Yeah, be careful. So the Polygon actually just updated, you guys. So once again, Winilla and Oma, you guys are actually good now. You guys are good to go out of your shelter. No longer a warning for Oma and Winilla, Mississippi. Once again, y'all, this is in South Mississippi here. But rotation's still present, and it's going right towards New Hebron. So New Hebron and Shivers, you guys are still in the warning here. They did actually cancel it for Panola. We were literally just talking about Panola here a second ago. Yeah, Panola is good to come out of your shelter, but I'd still recommend being indoors, away from windows, because we still are in the storm. Still is a bit of lightning activity. Lightning itself is a concern, so just remain indoors for a little bit, preferably away from windows. But yeah, for Shivers and New Hebron, it's a little different story. You guys are still actively in the warning there. So, let's see here. Yeah, probably Carrot. I'll have to look at the models here in a minute. We'll go over that again here soon. Let's see, anything to worry about? Alex City, Alabama. Let me look. Let's see what we got going on here for you. Alex City. I don't see Alex City. Hold on. Alex, Alabama. Hey, do you have a zip code for that? Because if you throw a zip code, I'll actually be able to pull it up here, and I'll let you know if you're in the risk or not. So, I do know a lot of Alabama isn't going to be in the risk, or is going to be in the risk later on, because believe it or not, SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, they actually increased the probability for severe weather for the central and southern side here of Alabama. So that's that, and tornado. Yeah, we do have ourselves. The tornado probability here actually at a 5%, including areas like Montgomery and stuff. So, since yesterday, that's actually increased a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and see here. There we go. Okay. Oh, Alexander City. Gotcha. That's why I wasn't pulling it up here. Okay. Yeah, so you are in that 5% tornado risk here for. Let's see here. You are in that 5% tornado risk here for later on. We have a 15% wind threat here as well, and no hail threat. Like I said, the hail threat actually kind of diminishes, so that's good. That's good at least, but still, tornadoes and gusty winds could be a concern in some areas here. Let's see here. How about Mendenhall? Let me see. It's just the northeast of Panola. Oh, yeah, I see you. All right, well, let's hop back to radar here. So, actually, Mendenhall's pretty good. The way that the storm's moving, you can kind of see it's moving to the northeast here. Now, if I was to kind of, track this path here over the last little bit, you can kind of see it's going in, kind of that direction. Given that Mendenhall's right here, it's likely just to kind of pass you, just pass south of you. So, yeah, no immediate danger for you. Given right now, you're kind of going through the heaviest of it right now. You're probably noticing some heavy rain, maybe some lightning and stuff like that. But believe it or not, you're not in any warning or anything like that. It still is likely a strong storm out there, but nothing tornadic about it for Mendenhall. What I would recommend you doing, though, is just staying away from windows. Remaining indoors, staying away from windows. It's the best thing to do. Let's see here. You live down a hill, so maybe the possibilities are low. So it's actually a myth that hills and mountains stop tornadic activity. It's not true. Tornadoes and stuff can still go between valleys and hills. It can. I want to go ahead and clear up that myth with you guys. If y'all have heard of that, it's not true. It's certainly possible that tornadoes can do that. So that doesn't change anything. But yeah, you are still in that threat here. The odds still of you seeing a tornado is pretty low. But what I do need you to do is still being weather aware in that area. All right, anyways, update on the tornado warning, everybody. So we still have this tornado warning in effect for Shivers as well as New Hebron. You can kind of see where that rotation is right in here. Still no debris signature, which is good. Still means it's a radar indicated threat here. Let's see, your CB Mama wants me to look at a zip code. I got you, my friend. Here, let's go ahead and pull that up here now. So you, actually, you know what? You are actually just barely even in that risk here for today. It does look like though. Let's see here. Where I lost your here. Let's bring guys back over here. We'll bring that back up here. Okay, so it does look like we do have a little bit of thunderstorm activity here, kind of pushed into the northeast. So you're probably getting ready to get some storms, but this in particular set of storms that's about to come over here is not currently severe. We do have a special weather statement tag on it saying, hey, there could be some gusts upwards of 40 miles an hour in it, sub-severe, but yeah, still it could be a strong storm. But it looks like we have a pretty good amount of lightning activity here going on within that storm. So you could start to see some activity here pretty soon. But remember, like I said, this in particular storm itself is not currently, severe or, life-threatening, really. Other than the lightning, you still want to be away from that lightning. Lightning is a big concern in its own. So I don't know if they're getting ready to extend this tornado warning or not. They probably should. I mean, rotation's still there. It's definitely improved a bit, comparing to earlier. I mean, we had some really nasty rotation with it. Rotation's still obviously there. In my opinion, they should extend it out a little bit. So don't be surprised if we get a new tornado warning maybe for some of these areas here. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. But New Hebron and Shivers still in that warning. Still need you guys in your safe spots here. So we'll keep a close eye on that. We'll see if they do extend that or not. Don't be scared, dude. You'll be all right. Just just keep an eye on the weather. I'm sure you'll be absolutely fine. Let's see here. You're home alone. You have weather anxiety. I'm sorry to hear that. One thing I recommend you guys do if you have weather anxiety, learn how to read radar. Not just your simple reflectivity. Like learn how to go into velocity, like we can use to detect rotation, and of course correlation coefficient, which we can use to look at or look for tornadic debris. So if you can match up the rotation and debris, you can see if a tornado is on the ground. Otherwise, you can see what's kind of going on in the storm. It's heavily recommended. A lot of it's the fear of the unknown of what's going to happen, and not knowing, especially at nighttime, which I can definitely understand that. Heavily would recommend that. Heavily would. All right, William. See your zip code. I got you, dude. Let's see what we got going on here for you. Here, let's hop back over here. Thank you, 80s man, for subscribing. I appreciate it. So this is bringing up South Korea, Ukraine, or Mexico. I don't think we're gonna have anything of this event related to those areas. So unless there is another zip code you have or something that's in the U.S., I can't help you there. See, going up a mountain weakens a tornado, but going down can actually strengthen it. It really just depends on the environment around it, honestly. Is the rotation dying? It seems like it's dropping a little bit. Matter of fact, look at that. They actually just canceled the warning there. Well, there you go. New Hebron and Shivers is still... sorry, you guys are now out of the warning here. That rotation's still kind of there, though. I still want to keep an eye on it. Remember, storms can recycle, too. Meaning they could look like they're getting better, but they can actually, kind of relapse, essentially. That is what we need to look out for, though. While the tornado warning is now officially canceled from the Weather Service here. So once again, Shivers and New Hebron, you guys are good to come out of your shelters here. I'd still recommend being indoors, though. I mean, you're still kind of close to a little bit of lightning activity and stuff. But we'll have to continue watching. All right, let's see here. CB Mama says, thank you. Yeah, no problem. Once again, thank you for the support. I really appreciate that, my friend. Greatly appreciate it. Maybe rotation to the north of it developing. Oh, over here towards East Mendenhall area. Yeah, we'll keep it on that. Somebody said that they were in Mendenhall earlier. And if you heard that, you're probably wondering. No, this is heading east of you, by the way. So you're fine still. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I mean, it doesn't look like much right now. What's up, Ace? Good to see you, dude. Almost being hit by a tornado was the reason to get in the weather. I hear that. I'm glad you're okay, dude. Hoping there's gonna be no tornado. Yeah, Car. I think you'll be all right. I mean, given that there is a threat there, you still need to monitor it. But like I mentioned, for you specifically to get a tornado head on is very low probability. Very low probability. So here's actually how this works here. I do want to bring you guys back over here to the scene. So this is the risk here for today. So if you're in the brown, you have a 5% chance for tornadoes. If you're in the green, you have a 2% chance. Now, the way that this works, say for an example, we'll just say we live in Montgomery, right? So say we're in Montgomery. So within a 25-mile radius around Montgomery, I say Montgomery, within a 25-mile radius around Montgomery, or I said it again, dude, Montgomery. Holy cow, it's early, so I apologize. So basically that means that, within a 25-mile radius around it, we have a 5% chance of a tornado dropping somewhere within that area, which, of course you ain't going to have a 25-mile long or wide tornado. So they're like a little hair compared to that risk area, or to that area, essentially. So the odds of you getting that is very low, but that doesn't mean the risk is still there for tornadoes. Like I mentioned, it's definitely still something we need to look for. It's not something to ignore per se, but still the odds of you getting one is pretty low. It's certainly worth monitoring, but it's not worth freaking out over. Let's see here. William says you're in Mossy Head, Florida. Hey, you got a fellow Floridian here. Let me check and see. I don't think we have anything really going on. It still brings up like other countries for some reason. Here, let's just do Mossy Head, Florida. Here we go. Okay. So yeah, you're actually in the level 1 here. Severe weather threat here for later today. So we'll definitely keep an eye out there for it. You're kind of in the lower scale threat here, but we do have a 2% chance for tornadoes today. So there is a small tornado risk here. We have a 5% chance for damaging winds. And then, of course, lastly, we don't have any active hail threats. So earlier yesterday, we had that hail threat we were also tracking. But believe it or not, today the hail threat does minimize here. So we do not have that. But just a little bit of a risk here. So keep an eye out there for it for later on. Let's see. Do I think they're going to warn it? What, the other storm? That new area of rotation that the Carrot said. I don't know. It still needs some work. It's certainly something to watch, though. I mean, look at that. It does look like we might have a little bit of possible rotation trying to develop there. The one that was previously warned here. Yeah, at this point in time, that thing, it looks like it's kind of fizzling out a little bit, which is definitely good. Let's see here. Yesterday in South Louisiana, local news issued a severe warning, yet showed the map with slight and marginal risk here. What's the opinion on this? So quote-unquote severe warning could just be them saying there's a severe thunderstorm warning, which is a type of warning issued by the Weather Service saying, hey, this storm isn't particularly strong. Matter of fact, it's severe. That's probably what the news was going off of. They were probably saying that there was a severe thunderstorm warning for a specific area. Now, the slight and the marginal risk, that comes from the convective outlook. That comes from the overall risk for severe weather, essentially. So, as you may or may not know, there is certain levels to the SPC risk outlook. So you have a level 1 to 5. Level 1's a marginal, which is the dark green area. Level 2 is a slight risk, which is the yellow. Now, that's the max risk for today. Then after that, it continues into orange, enhanced, level 3, moderate, red, level 4, and high pink level 5. Which thankfully we're not anywhere near that territory for today, but still, I mean, even if you're on the list, it's still an active risk for damaging storms, so it's still something to look out for. But yeah, so the marginal to slight, that's off of the convective outlook. That's off of the risk area, essentially. And them saying severe warning was likely a severe thunderstorm warning, which was for a specific storm at that given time. Hopefully that helps kind of clear some things up. Let's see here. Nobody says, thank you for all you do. May God bless you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, nobody. It's really, really sweet of you. And you are very welcome, my friend. Knowledge is power. Absolutely. Very, 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 very true. Let's see here. What's up, weather? Good to see ya. Let's see. What time is the rain for Montana? Let me actually bring up the models here. We'll hop back over here. So this is the HRRR. This is the 06 UTC run here. So you're over in this area here. So it seems like the models kind of have the main line per se, quote unquote, rolling through tomorrow evening. No given time specifically, just kind of later evening. What I'd go off of. But I mean, there could be a few little showers, a few little storms that could pop up, between now and then. So we'll have to just keep an eye on it. But it'll likely, the main line will be likely rolling through kind of in the evening here. So it'll be later on. Let's see. Carbedic says subscribe. Well, thank you, dude. I appreciate that. It'll be good because it'll keep you weather aware too. We'll be keeping you guys up to date with all these weather events here. Like I said, we got y'all. In the main 48, we cover all severe weather, a lot of winter weather, tropical cyclones. We cover about it all, so it could be really useful, which I really appreciate it, but could definitely become quite useful. Let's see here. Brandon says you're in Oakville, Mississippi. Let's see, your power went out, and now I'm looking for a tornado. Oh, well, there's no current tornado warnings, thankfully, anymore. They did cancel that one. Before you... Okay, so yeah, you're actually... there's actually a line of storms here that's west of you. Here, let's bring you guys over here. So you're right in here. Let's see, where is... Okay, there you go. So you're right here. This is right where you're at. So you can see the line of storms to your west here, starting to pop up. Now, these guys right here aren't currently severe. They're not currently a damaging concern. Doesn't mean that they, like I said, it doesn't seem like they are right now per se, but it doesn't mean that they can't in the future here. So that's that. Let's see here. I subscribed and sent to you PayPal. Wait, what? Did you? Hold on, let me check. I didn't get a notification or anything like that. Here, let me just see here. Hold on one second. Holy cow, dude. You ain't kidding. Thank you so much, man. Here, let me bring this up here. Oh my goodness, dude. Elizabeth, thank you so much for that. That is greatly appreciated. Say it, keep it all safe and up to the minute, Track and Andrew. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I didn't get a notification from PayPal about that. That is really sweet of you. Thank you so much. Big shout out goes to you. That is like you didn't have to do that. I'm stumbling with my words there. I'm just genuinely really appreciative. Thank you so much. You really didn't have to do that. Of course, it helps out a ton, and it'll go to good use. I really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you once again for that. I need to figure out how to get notifications here on PayPal here. I don't know why that didn't work, but once again, thank you so much for that. It's greatly appreciated. But anyways, everybody, so hopping back over to radar. So once again, they finally canceled that tornado warning here. But like I said, from now on, we just got to kind of wait and see, for new stuff that could pop up here. Given that we're still in the risk here, unfortunately, over the next several hours here. I mean, the weather service, we still have that tornado watch here. in effect for, let's see here, about a little over an hour. Yeah, so we still have that. You can see these yellow polygon areas here. So you can see we have central Louisiana here. We also have kind of the south central side of Mississippi, kind of where we did have that tornado warning here not too long ago. Yeah, so those areas still have a tornado watch in effect here. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it. So the risk continues, and you know, from the way that things were looking here, I'll bring back up the models for you guys here. You know, the way that things were looking, unfortunately, is like it seems like the winds. So in the lower atmosphere, you know, not at the surface, but about 5,000-ish feet or so. It seems like the lower level winds are going to be increasing in wind speed. Now, that's actually really important for tornadic activity here. You know, that means that, you know, there could be some more efficient, better organization and potential rotation within these storms here, you know, with increased winds like that. So what I do want to do here, we'll bring up our lower level winds here. So we'll go ahead and load that on the models for right now. So earlier today, those winds were about 25, 30 knots or so. The models now, as you can see, kind of suggest the winds increasing. I mean, look at you can just see in the color gradient here how it goes from a blue to a kind of a pinkish color, which is showing that the winds are increasing from about 20, 30 knots to maybe even 40 knots or greater. So, oh, did we get a new tornado warning? Oh, we sure did. Holy cow. All right, y'all, let's hop back to radar. We got a new tornado warning in effect. This one's south of the other one. Matter of fact, this is the one that we were just saying doesn't look severe, which at the time it wasn't, but now it is. Anyway, so tornado warning in effect for Peoria. Is that how you say it? Peoria, maybe? I think it's Peoria. Also Thompson, and extreme southern Mississippi. I mean, this is almost on the border of Louisiana here. So, anyways, but yeah, we got a little bit of rotation out there. It looks like out by Peoria. Let's actually hop to the Hammond radar. This is probably going to be the closest one we got, which thankfully isn't that far. Oh yeah, there you go. You can see a little buckle here. So yeah, it's just radar indicated as of right now. Thank you, Lee. I appreciate it, dude. Thank you, moderate. You guys are awesome. I love you guys. Use weather-wise, yeah, me too. I have it on this panel up here. See, our alarms are going off again here. Let me check where you're at, CB Mama. Once again, we'll see what we got going on for you. Oh, okay. So you're actually not far from this tornado warning. So the good news is that you're outside of the polygon. More than likely that rotation will pass to your northwest. But yeah, I mean, you're not in the active polygon right now. The line of storms will likely impact you here in a little bit because, I mean, this whole thing's just kind of, you know, the storms are moving northeast, but the system's moving kind of southeast. So eventually this line, while the storms are pulling northeast, will eventually kind of go down southeastward, which eventually could make it rain and stuff like that. Actually, when I'm looking at reflectivity, you can kind of see a nice little hook echo here, kind of trying to develop like kind of an embedded supercell. Now, the problem with these ones here, you know, say this wasn't materialized, right? The problem is that, first of all, given it's nighttime, it's like really hard to see anything going on outside. But there's something called a rain-wrapped tornado, which, like we mentioned here, is, you know, whenever it comes to rain-wrapped tornadoes, essentially you have these curtains of rain that can wrap literally around the tornado here, which can make it, like, impossible to see, even during the daytime. So a mixture between that being an embedded cell, or embedded supercell, and being nighttime. Don't wait to see or hear it. You live off of Peoria. Okay, well then make sure you're in your safe spot there, CB Mama. I'll be sure to keep you updated with it, okay? Yeah, right now we have a little bit of rotation out there kind of by Peoria, or Peoria. Is that how you say it, Peoria? Pretty sure. Y'all, correct me if I'm wrong there. Once again, I'm terrible with names, so I really apologize. But we have a little bit of rotation. The good news is that we actually have a pretty close radar, so it'll be able to give us good updates. You know, we're scanning 2,000 feet up, which is not that high for a radar. So that's good. That's really, really good. So you got good radar coverage, unlike some of these other areas we tracked earlier. But right now, it's a radar indicated threat, meaning that radar is just picking up rotation within the storm here. As of right now, there's no confirmation of a confirmed tornado or anything like that. So, doesn't mean it can't happen. I mean, obviously, we have a warning in place, so we need you to be in your safe spot. So, once again, Peoria and Thompson, extreme southern Mississippi, you guys are under a tornado warning. So, that means that, tornadic activity is expected to develop shortly. So, got to keep an eye out there for that. Now, like I mentioned, if you have a basement or a storm shelter, go there now. If you do not, then go to the central interior portion on the lowest floor of your home, such as an interior room, like a closet, a bathroom. That's the best place to be. And of course, if you do not have any of that, say you're in a mobile home, a trailer, mobile home, at that point, you'd want to find a sturdier structure because, unfortunately, like I said, mobile homes are not really good at protecting, against tornadic activity here. So, at that point, I would go out and find another sturdier structure quickly. Let's see. Are all these storms moving away from us yet? Well, right now, there's really none around you, but later on down in time, the storms will eventually work their way well over towards you. Yes. Right now, you're good though. Up in Florida. Yeah, Carrot. Absolutely. Let's see here. See, appreciating you. We are for sure those close and in the threat area. But find comfortable in following in real time. Yep, I got you, my friend. I'll let you know what's going on in the storm, and I'll let you know when you're safe to leave. Right now, to be honest with you, based off of the radar data right now, it looks like the rotation was actually a little bit stronger a minute ago. Now, that doesn't mean a whole lot right now. I mean, it could recycle, it could strengthen a bit, but right now, I'm not seeing any confirmations of a tornado on the ground. Given the current data that I have here, like I said, it doesn't mean that it won't, but as of right now, everything looks all right. But still, we do have a bit of rotation out by Peoria, which is tracking to the northeast. This will likely just pass south of Thompson. So we'll keep an eye out there for that. And like I said, on top of that rotation there, I do not see any debris signature. So basically, you can see that all of this is kind of like a, kind of like a maroonish color. So kind of like a reddish maroon color, whatever. So that is telling us that the radar is seeing a lot of similarities in particles that the beam is reflecting off of. So basically, in this case, a bunch of raindrops. So the radar is saying, hey, these raindrops look pretty similar, so it's remaining this color. If it was a tornadic debris signature, then you would have a big blob, like a ball of the color dipping down into like yellow, green, blues, and even black if it gets like really crazy. Even white, actually, if it gets really, really, really deep, essentially. But right now, what the radar is telling me here on correlation coefficient is that all of these particles look pretty similar to one another. It's telling us that there is likely not debris in the air and things that look different to raindrop. I mean, obviously, debris, if there was a tornado, stuff that gets thrown up in the air would look entirely different than a raindrop. Because the cool thing about these radars is that they're called dual polarization radars. They have not only a vertical beam, but they have a horizontal beam. So they can determine the width and the height of these particles. And, by determining an irregular shape comparing to the rainfall, like say something like a debris, a piece of debris, whatever it could be, paper, wood, whatever, it can tell the difference. And that's what correlation coefficient does, is it tells us, hey, does that look similar to a raindrop or does it look different? Which is also really important for hail tracking too. But anyways, enough of that. But the good news is I'm not seeing any differential here. The way it looks, everything looks similar. So it's telling us that up in the air where this is scanning is likely just rain. But like I mentioned, though, we still do have rotation on velocity. That tells us that it monitors the movement of the air, basically the movement of the rain, because it can't detect air itself. It can only detect the raindrops within the storm and kind of determine on which way that they're moving. The green meaning that the air is coming towards the radar, and the red meaning that the air is moving away from radar. So it's a simple Doppler effect in motion here. Anyways, but from what it looks like right now, the rotation doesn't seem to be anything super significant. I mean, for a second, it looked pretty good, but it honestly seems like it's not really anything super crazy. But of course, warning's still in effect. We still need you guys in your safe spots here. And once again, everybody, if you're just now tuning in, this is for southern Mississippi. This includes Peoria, Peoria as well as Thompson, Mississippi here. So this warning will remain in effect here until 3:15 a.m. Central Time. So we have about 30 minutes or so before this warning gets canceled, unless they pull it sooner. But for right now, we're going to be expecting it to expire at around 3:15 Central. So, anyways, but like I said, you guys, if y'all have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Like I said, we are here for you guys. We want to make sure y'all are staying weather aware here. Like I said, I'm going to keep an eye on these other areas here too. Let's do a quick little scan over by Louisiana. I'm going to check this line here just to make sure nothing funky is going on. It doesn't look like we have any rotation in this particular line over here in Louisiana, so that looks okay. Let's hop back over to Jackson real quickly. Take a quick little look at the storms over here. It doesn't look like we have really any rotation. Yeah, so the only storm that right now is a concern is the one over here by Peoria and Thompson. So definitely we'll look out there for that. It doesn't really seem like it's super tight rotation. Latest scan still not showing any debris signatures here. The quote-unquote rotation is now kind of northeast of Peoria, south of Thompson. They actually just updated the polygon here. Warning still in effect for those areas, by the way. So, on top of this here too, I mean, we're likely seeing a bit of lightning activity here going on as well, which is the way it looks here. So let's see here. Yeah, so definitely that's another thing we gotta look out for is the lightning activity. So just make sure you're indoors. Right now, you just need to be in your safe spot. Once again, Thompson, Peoria, southern Mississippi. If you have a basement, a storm shelter, get there now. If you do not, go to the central interior portion on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Such as a interior bathroom. A closet, whatever, just somewhere lowest floor, interior part of your home, away from windows, is where you want to be. And once again, I know it's not like a broken record here. It's just new people coming in and out. I got to keep on updating everybody. That way, we ensure that we're efficient at keeping people informed. But like I mentioned here, though, it's if you're in a mobile home, a trailer, it's best just to ditch those areas and go find a sturdier structure, because unfortunately, we're not going to really have much protection in those areas. Let's see here. But anyway, so we have Thompson and Peoria. You guys are still in that warning here. Like I said, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of really, really tight rotation anymore with that cell, but I mean, still the polygons, it's still there. And, the rule is, the rule I go off of is if you're in the polygon, if the polygon is still visibly there on radar, you still need to be in your safe spot, regardless of what it looks like it's doing on the radar itself. It's just to play it safe. It's important just to play it safe. It's very, very important. It looks pretty disorganized right now, though, which is good. And still nothing on CC, so we're not seeing any active debris or anything like that. Carrot says there's a new mesoscale discussion. Is there? Oh yeah, it says concerning Tornado Watch 2. Well, isn't that what this one is? Is this Tornado Watch number 2 or is this number 1? I think it's number 1, right? Or maybe it's number 2 actually. Hold on, let me pull this up real quickly. We'll pull up SPC. So the watch that's in effect right now is Tornado Watch number 2. Yes. Watch number 1 was yesterday up in Oklahoma, or the day before yesterday at this point. So what that mesoscale discussion is already for the areas that are already in a tornado watch. It's likely just giving that area a little heads up again, just letting the region know that, hey, we got that tornado threat coming up. All right, so once again, guys, if you're just now tuning in, southern Mississippi, we have a tornado warning in effect. It is a radar indicated threat here. This includes Peoria and Thompson. So be sure that you guys are, in your safe spots. But the way it looks, like I said, right now, I don't see, any debris signatures, anything like that. And it does look like the rotation's kind of fading a bit, which is good. So we'll just see what happens. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what the weather service does with it. Let me actually hop to the other radar here. Let's hop to Brandon. This is pretty far away from the storm. I mean, obviously, the closest one is Hammond that we were just looking at. You can see a difference in color there. Yeah, this is scanning 6,500 feet up, so that's a little high. Yeah, we'll hop back to Hammond. That's our best radar. Let's see here. What a big line! Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, I should say lines. There's quite a few of them actually. Like if we bring up the composite reflectivity here, like all the radars in sync, you can see the main line over here, just off of Texas's east coast, going through like central Louisiana. We have another line over there just west of Baton Rouge here, and then we got some scattered convection going on as well. Yeah, there's actually two lines here going on right now. Let's see here. Nathan says, hello, are we safe in Gloucester, Mississippi? First of all, hi. let me look for you real quickly. Let's see. You are actually okay. Yeah, you're good. You're outside of any warning. There's no current warning or anything like that for you. I will tell you this though. You're under a flash flood warning. So if you're in an area that's prone to flooding, just a heads up to that. Because we do have that effect for the next 3 hours because of all the rain that we've actually gotten here. But any tornado warning, anything like that, you're not in currently. Now there is another round of storms that'll likely roll through within the next couple of hours here. So keep it out there for that. But right now you're not in any immediate danger. We do have a tornado warning east of you that we're currently tracking. This is out there kind of once again by like Peoria, actually including other areas like Galding, McElveen, East Fork, Thompson, Tangafoa. Poa. I think the A is silent. Yeah, Tangafoa. I think that's how you say that. And then we have Mars Hill as well. So we have 26 minutes on that warning there in particularly. Yeah, like I said, rotation right now doesn't appear to be anything like super significant, which is good. But like I said, warning's still in place. Still need you guys to do the same thing. Still be in your safe spot. Let's see here. Just look at the National Weather Service radar, and the second line looks pretty strong. Well, the one on the back side. Yeah, right now that whole line is not warned at all. I mean, for any severe thunderstorm warnings, any tornado warnings, right now this line's clear. The prefrontal line. So this is the main cold front. This back line right here, this is the separation of air masses between your warm, moisture-filled air mass coming up from the north, coming up from the south, and then the cold air mass that's infiltrating from the north to the south. This is your main cold front right here. Now the prefrontal line, which is this one right here, this one is the one that we're currently looking at. The one with the current warning and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I'm sure. I mean, regardless, I'm sure it's still quite a strong storm out there. Thank God Gloucester is all right for now. Yeah, you guys out there you guys are good. But like I said, once again, we do have a little bit of a flooding threat going on out there, so just be careful and make sure that if you're in a flood-prone area, that you're looking out for that one. Let's see here. But anyways, like I said, guys, if y'all have any questions, be sure to let us know. Like I said, we're here for y'all. We'll keep you guys in the loop here. Okay, so they did update the polygon here on this program I'm looking at. So they discontinued it for Peoria. So you guys are no longer in that warning out there in Peoria. Actually, Thompson has been knocked out of the warning as well. So if you guys can see here, so there's Thompson. Thompson's outside of the warning. Peoria's now out of it. East Fork, Galding, is it Gladding? I think it is actually. The only areas that is still in that tornado warning as of right now includes McElveen, and Tangafoa. So those areas are the ones that are still in that active warning there. So we'll definitely keep an eye out there for that. Thank you, Jimmy, for subscribing, dude. I appreciate it, man. All right, let's hop back over here to this radar here. Honestly, that area of quote-unquote rotation is actually moving out of the polygon in general, so I would not be surprised if this warning, in general, just gets canceled here pretty soon. Yeah, definitely would not be surprised if that did happen. Let's see here. Nathan says there was a bad tornado in Tylertown this morning. Was there? Yeah, I know there was a lot of pop-up tornadoes that kicked off. We did a bit of coverage here yesterday morning and of course yesterday evening, and of course now we're here early morning. So let's see, it's flooding here in Gloucester. Yeah, Gloucester has that flash flood warning here. Actually, let's see, we have a flood watch in effect for one. We have a flash flood warning in effect here. So this says at 2:44 a.m., Doppler radar indicated thunderstorms producing heavy rain across the warned area. Between a half an inch and 1.5 inches of rain have fallen. Additional rainfall amounts. So with that second line coming in, the main cold front line later on, additional amounts of 1 to 3 inches are possible in the warned area with that second line. Flash flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly. So that's for the Gloucester area, which also includes Liberty, Mississippi here. A little bit of Louisiana, like Clinton, Wilson, Jackson, Louisiana here, just north of Baton Rouge. So, all right, let's hop back over here. Once again, tornado warning still in effect here east of Thompson. This includes McElveen as well as Tangafoa. You guys are still in that tornado warning, but they did cancel it for Thompson and Peoria. You guys are good to come out of your shelters, but I would still recommend being away from windows and stuff, just because we have a bit of lightning activity. It's not really safe to be around windows during lightning activity, so stay away from windows. But yeah, we do have ourselves that warning still in effect for the areas of Tangafoa and McElveen. So if you are in that warning, like I mentioned, if you have a basement or a storm shelter, just be sure that you get there if you're not already, and if you do not have a basement or a storm shelter, go to the central interior portion on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, such as a closet, a bathroom. It's the best place to kind of protect yourself from the flying debris. Away from windows essentially is the goal, and interior, in the interior portion where it's more structurally there. And once again, trailers, mobile homes, it's best just to evacuate those areas because unfortunately they don't really provide much protection, and then go find somewhere that's a little bit more sturdy. Let's see here. It kind of reminds me of how the Nashville 2020 tornado event occurred during 1 to 3 a.m. in the morning. Dude, I don't know how you remember all this, dude. I don't get how some people could be like walking weather encyclopedias. I suck at remembering even some big events, unless it's like super significant or if I'm like directly impacted and I remember it. But I just have a hard time at remembering like those dates and stuff like that. I mean, some of the events I remember, I just can't tell you the date for. It's how it is for me. Anyways, did they cancel that warning here? I don't see it on WeatherWise anymore. They might have actually. There you go. All right, everybody. Well, they canceled that tornado warning. That is no longer in effect here. So the warning has now been canceled. You guys are now good to come out of your shelters here. But like I said, I'd still recommend just being indoors, away from windows for a little bit. So that included the warning that included McElveen as well as Tangafoa. That has now been canceled. You guys are good to come out of your shelters. But like I said, still got to watch the storm. It still is heavy rain producing and lightning producing and stuff like that. So, but the tornado threat is over with. And with that being that, we are actually clear on warnings, other than flash flood warnings. But got 2 of those in Louisiana here. Carmedic says yay. That's a big yay for sure. Don't want any tornado warnings, especially at nighttime. I mean, you don't want them at all, anyways. But yeah, where it's nighttime, it's like it's not very good. But anyways, folks, like I said, guys, if y'all have any questions or anything, be sure to let us know. We're gonna hop back over to the models here, and I'll go ahead and bring up our reflectivity over top of that. So this is the weather models that we have here. So right now it is 4 a.m. So we're kind of around this point in time. So we have the main line of storms, the main cold front here. We have a HRRR really didn't pick up on that second line. It just shows a bunch of multicellular storm activity, in the prefrontal area here. But the thing is that as we progress our way down in time, you can see that the winds are actually going to be increasing. The lower level winds. This is 850 millibars, which is about 5,000 feet, I believe. So fairly shallow. When will the storms peak? It's honestly hard to say. It really is. This event's been kind of like a lengthy event, but just kind of like, ups and downs. It's like a roller coaster ride. You have some moments where it gets high, some moments where it gets low. I can't tell you definitively what time, the peak is going to be there. But with that being said, though, given that the environment is increasing, in activity potential, like stronger wind shear, like we were just talking about, as well as still great moisture support. We have 60, 70 degree dew points, which is really good for storms. And on top of that, instability, not an absurd amount of fuel in the atmosphere, but it's enough to get the job done. All three of those are the main things, for the storm. So it seems like over the next couple of hours, things could pick up in intensity a little bit. But I can't tell you a definitive time, though, an exact time of when. Here, let's actually hop to the latest HRRR here. I think the latest one we got is 08 UTC. Yeah, this one's actually still rendering too. Here, let's drop to the 07. That one should be done completely. Here we go. Yeah, so this, the 07 did a little bit of a better job at kind of showing that second line that we have here in a way. Kind of just a bunch of clusters. Will snow hit Portage, Wisconsin? There actually is there was a bit of a snow concern actually with this system as well. So you being kind of in south central Wisconsin here. So if we hop over to, we'll take a look at the GFS model here. We'll hop to model, precipitation, and we'll go to precipitation type and reflectivity here. So yeah, you can see that, there's going to be a little bit of snowfall included in this event here. Honestly, I might even be able to pull up the HRRR for this here. So let's do that again. We'll pull up the HRRR and we'll do the 06 UTC run since it's a long run here. So, yeah, you can see that there will be a little bit of snow out in that region. It looks like a lot of that's going to be popping off kind of early mid-morning essentially, and it should be out by noon or so. But the snow will fall across portions of like northern Missouri, eastern Iowa, portions of like northwestern Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, and then the cold air mass you can see punching through on the backside here. Could even bring some snow squalls, maybe even out there by like Louisville. I noticed that the models have been kind of picking up on this in particular snow squall for quite a while. Since yesterday morning's coverage that we did. The HRRR was pretty consistent, on that actually happening. So it's a real good possibility. The thing about snow squalls is that, they drop a pretty good amount of snow in a short period of time here. So that's that. But anyways, that could definitely bring some snow and fun stuff like that. So we'll keep an eye on it. There might even be some lake effect snow too, with the cold air rolling over the warm Great Lakes. It could definitely do that. Yeah, here's just kind of a motion of what's kind of going on here. So, once again, at the current moment here, I'll just go ahead and play this in a loop so you guys can kind of see how this is playing out here. But we have a lot of warm air, a lot of warm air advection, a lot of warm air coming from the Gulf and shooting up into the southeast. And on top of that, we have the cooler air coming down from up north. So the interaction between the warm air that's pulling up and the cold air that's coming down, that defines your cold front, the separation between the two air masses. So You have the warm one, the cold one, and just the thermodynamic differential there can really create some instability, which is why we're really seeing a lot of storm activity, is because the difference between the two makes the atmosphere very upset. And the thing is, and the reason why the further east that we go, the reason I believe why the further east that we go and the instability drops is because the differential between the temperatures from the cold front and the warm air coming up lowers a bit. It's not as great of a gradient, if that makes sense. Hopefully I'm not just gibberishing a lot. but yeah, I think that's the main reason why the severe threat dies down the further east you go, is because at least lower amounts of instability and stuff like that. While the winds will still be there for some of these areas, the wind shear. I think that's the main reason of why that happens. Let's see, the snow will be the main story after this. It's going to be snowing in the Northeast a lot. Yeah, actually, I was actually just looking at that earlier today. Actually, you can see that Vermont and like New Hampshire and Maine is probably going to be getting a pretty good little snow system out of this. There's even a little bit of mixed precipitation according to the HRRR. Some freezing rain and maybe some sleet too. Which here, let me bring up totals here. I guess I'll bring we'll look at the 10-to-1 ratio. If it was a lot colder, I would look at the other ratio, the Kashira. But let me pull up the 10-to-1 snow ratio here from the HRRR. So, yeah, you know what? Look at this. So some areas could see a good maybe 3 to 5 inches throughout Vermont. New Hampshire and Maine here, good maybe 3 to, I don't know, a lot of 2 to 4 I see, with local amounts maybe really high actually. Wow, look at that. Goodness, man. Yeah, some of these upper elevations could actually pull a little bit more. Reason being is because it's colder. The higher you go up, the air's thinner. And so the precipitation that is falling there's a lot more snow to fall than those lower elevations where you have some rain, then some snow. A lot of the upper elevations get a lot of snow because of the colder temperatures aloft. So you can be a snowman. Did I already say that? I seen your comment a second ago. I was just getting to it. I don't remember if I said it or not, but that's pretty funny. But yes, you can be a snowman. Northern Michigan, we could see quite a bit of snow as well out there. Some bands. I mean, we could really see some pretty decent accumulation out by Traverse City. HRRR suggests about maybe 5 to 8 inches or so. That's pretty good snow. Pretty good. Let's see here. May 3rd of 1978, 10.5 inches of rain fell in New Orleans. Wow. That's a lot of rain, dude. Especially New Orleans. Or sorry, not just New Orleans, but, Louisiana in general. They have a huge flooding problem. A huge, huge flooding problem. And New Orleans especially. Given that they're actually below sea level. A little bit of a fun fact for you guys. I don't know if you guys knew that, but New Orleans is actually below sea level, meaning that the ocean is at a higher elevation than New Orleans is. So they got the water trying to come in, which is a problem, and then the rain on top of it. Yeah, it's a big thing for Louisiana. Oh my gosh, paddled 3 miles to pick you up from school. That's crazy. Goodness. That sounds like something you'd see in Florida after a hurricane or whatever. But anyways, yeah, like that band here. Here, let me bring up the precip type here as well. Precipitation, we'll do precip type reflectivity. So you can see that the overlay there. Oh, that's just so satisfying. I mean, look at that, dude. I love that so much. I don't know what is about that, but just seeing the radar and then the trail it leaves behind it. Oh, that's so satisfying. Anyways, but yeah, you can see that that potential snow squall that comes through, and it could bring a little bit of snow to the Ohio Valley here. I mean, we're talking half inch, inch for a lot of like central northern Kentucky. Some areas could be heavier, of course. We could have pockets of heavier snowfall totals and stuff, but that is that. One thing I do want to pull up actually is the GFS here. So GFS, I don't think we really have any. Ooh, what the heck's going on here? Hold on a minute. I want to look more into that. According to GFS here, right around January 15th. I mean, this is 5 days. This is within reasonable time frame. The GFS kind of shows a strong low developing over by the Mid-Atlantic here. Wow. Does the Euro agree on that? Here, let me just compare models here. You know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna open up another panel here. So the GFS is on the left, and we'll have Euro ECMWF on the right here. Precipitation type. Here we go. Okay. Well, yeah, that's why it's important to look at other models. I mean, you can see that the models kind of disagree on that. I mean, they show a line here, you know, like a front here, for the 14th, but the GFS has that line actually sparking a low over the Mid-Atlantic, which draws in more moisture and has that. But you can see the Euro on the right-hand panel. It shows nothing at all. That's really interesting. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but there's just not a lot of agreement on it right now, so there wouldn't get your hopes up too much. That would be wild, though. Yeah, I tell you what, man, La Nina for that area. I grew up in Northern Virginia, Prince William County. This is where I grew up. You know, La Nina winters, from what I always remembered, were the big ones, and we're in a pretty good La Nina right now. We saw earlier, so yeah, it could happen. Could happen this year. You know, this year. But anyways, folks. Well, let's see. We've been live almost 2 hours. I think probably pretty soon I'm gonna go to bed. Because I've been up for a while. Like I said, I woke up from my sleep and I looked at the radar because I had my radar open on my computer and I saw the tornado warning we had in Northwest Louisiana earlier. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go live for you guys here. So yeah, I went live, and right now, knock on wood, please, doesn't look like we have much activity going on at the moment. You know, it's been a minute since we've had that tornado warning here, so I think for now, for the moment right now, there's no active warnings, but still need you guys to be weather aware. Just make sure you guys have a way to receive warnings and stuff like that. You know, because we definitely could still see some activity tonight, so we'll definitely need you guys to be looking out for that. But yeah, tomorrow I do plan on coming back on doing some more coverage tomorrow, if needed. Now we do have that tornado threat here. Let me bring up the models again here. I do want to look at the timing here. We'll remove that. We'll actually get rid of this one panel here, and we'll bring that back. So I do want to look at the timing again with everything. I'll also bring up the SPC outlook here. Let's do NOAA. We'll do the day one outlook here. So we'll overlay that right there so you can see where the convective outlook is. And then we'll overlay, let's do precip type reflectivity. That should be good enough. So yeah, it looks like the main line rolls through actually fairly early. I mean, this is 11 a.m. Eastern. You can see the time there in the bottom left there. It's actually fairly early. I don't know if I'm going to be able to be live for this because I'm probably going to be sleeping. Because it means 4 in the morning. I need to get to bed. So it looks like it'll be ending or pushing out of the level 2 slight risk here, kind of right around like early afternoon, late morning. So probably by then is when I'll be waking up. So maybe I'll be able to, you know, to stream towards the end of the event. Let's see here. What app is this? This is called Aguacero. So in the bottom, it's actually a sponsor that we have. If you guys want to check them out, at the bottom right, you can see Aguacero, wx.com. You can use code NWW20 for 20% off your first month. Really would recommend it though. It's a great program. I mean, it's super, super, super customizable. I mean, you could even change like the way you see stuff. I mean, like say if I wanted the yellow to look different, I could change the colors and different. I mean, I could even change the blue if I wanted to. It's super customizable. I definitely would recommend checking it out. But yeah, it's there in the bottom right if you want to go to it. Let's see. I typed into YouTube short search live weather and yours was up there. Well, I'm glad that you found me. Definitely thankful to have you here. I appreciate it. Now I messed up my radar. See if I can't make that. Oh no, what did I do to it? There we go. That's better. Whoops. Hit my desk there. Turning into an early Max Velocities stream. If you guys are OGs to Max, he always had the most wobbly webcam. I don't know if he still does or not. I don't really watch him because I do my own weather, but anyways, enough of that. So what time is it? 11 a.m. tomorrow. So that's whenever that one frame is at. So this is 11 a.m. tomorrow per HRRR. You can see the long line of storms here. So for you, like we were talking about, you're in Panhandle. You're in Panhandle, Florida, right? So yeah, your area's probably gonna get a little bit later. See next max velocity. I appreciate it. I mean, I've been doing this for a while here. We've been doing it for, I think, since 21. I think late 21 is when we really started. But I appreciate it. But all right, everybody. Well, if you guys have any final comments or questions before I roll off here, let me know. Like I said, right now there's kind of a clean slate. Let's see, Ashes. I have a hard time watching Max, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, it's different people different people have their own weatherman, so, or weatherwoman. It's a taste, I guess. People have different personalities. Some people. Max fixes webcam. Okay, good. So you probably knew what I was talking about, right? That's the one thing I noticed with him, dude. It's like I'm not hating on him at all. I'm not. I just find it funny. His webcam was wobbly. Let's see here. Thanks for the updates, Drew. Get some rest. I appreciate it. You're very welcome. Yo, dude. No way, man. CB Mama coming in with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Holy cow. Saying thank you for keeping us updated. You are very welcome, my friend. You did not have to do that. Big shout out goes to you, CB Mama. You guys in chat, please give CB Mama a big thank you for that. That helps us out a whole lot. So thank you. Thank you so much. That is really, really nice of you, my friend. You're a Max mod, so you know you're talking about. Okay. I'm glad somebody got that joke. I'm glad somebody got it. Oh my goodness. But anyways, thank you so much, CB Mama, once again. It's greatly appreciated. I got you, moderate. I got you. Nah, you're good, man. You're good. Hey, like I said, I'm glad to have you here too. It's I'm glad to have some company while I do this. So I really appreciate it. But all right, everybody. Well, I'm probably gonna roll off here now. Once again, going once, going twice. Any final questions or any zip code forecast or anything like that, I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. That's what we're here for. But seriously, once again, thank you so much, CB Mama. That is really, really, really greatly appreciated. See, Max gave me a big shout out like 3 years ago. That's how I found you. Really? Holy cow! I didn't know that that Max even know I existed. To be honest with you. I feel honored. Let's see here. Heading from Atlanta to Knoxville for some crane maintenance. I know it's going to be rainy, but I don't know about the wind. Do you have a timing for when you're going to be working on it? Here, let me bring up the models again. We'll pull up the winds. I guess I'll pull up max accumulated wind gusts for that. Show peak winds, essentially. Let's see here. We'll do what is it? All right, so we'll do add layer. We'll go to model. We'll do surface and max accumulated wind gust here. So you said from where? From Atlanta to Knoxville. Gotcha. So actually, Atlanta's supposed to get pretty strong winds out of this here. It looks like later on this morning and early afternoon. I mean, Atlanta could be dealing with like 40, some upper 40 mile an hour wind gusts. Yeah, could be pretty gusty here. Goodness. So you said from there to Knoxville. Okay, so you're going from here to here. So you're probably taking I-75 north, right? Yeah, so while you're in Atlanta, it looks like the strongest winds are going to be probably between like 6 a.m. and 11 a.m. or so in Atlanta. So if you're in Atlanta at that time, it'll probably be a little gusty. Knoxville, not so much. Knoxville's not really going to be dealing with a lot of strong winds, really. I mean, we could have some gusts, maybe upwards of 20, which isn't really super, it really isn't super significant or anything like that. So once you get out of, I said Nashville. Once you get out of Alabama, I need to go to bed, dude. I said Alabama. I call it Atlanta, Alabama. Okay. Once you get out of Atlanta, the wind should drop a bit. But be careful, dude. Let's see here. Sleep well, Andrew, and thank you for everything you do. Really appreciate it. You're very welcome, Ashes. Thanks for stopping by, dude. We'll see. Thanks and good night. Stay safe, everyone. God bless you too. Thank you for stopping by. Let's see here. When you live in the middle of a pine tree farm, rely on people like you to keep us on point. I'm glad that I'm here to help you, and I totally get that for sure. My aunt, she actually used to live in an area where there was a lot of trees, so I had to, keep them updated with some of the storms and stuff. So I totally get it. Totally get it. Let's see here. But all right, everybody. Well, thanks so much for joining. You guys take care. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Once again, everybody, thank you all for all the kind love and support. Once again, huge shout out to CB Mama for the 20. I really appreciate it here. It's greatly appreciated. Helps us out a ton. So big thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody else who supported us as well. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. It'd be greatly appreciated. It could be really helpful. Also, shout out to Elizabeth too earlier for the PayPal donation. I really appreciate it, my friend. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate the kind love and support. But all right, everybody. Well, that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up for now. We'll probably be back live tomorrow. By the time I wake up, the event will be mostly over. So, if I don't do coverage tomorrow, I will at least do a live stream just to kind of update you guys on the next weather events and stuff like that tomorrow evening. So, regardless, I'll go live tomorrow for you guys at some point. So, all right, everybody. How do you download Augustera? It's a website. Just go to augusterawx.com and you'll go there. KJ says, take care, Andrew. You're so appreciated. Thanks for hopping on overnight. You're very welcome. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you all for the kind love and support. We love you guys. But all right, everybody. Well, you guys have a great rest of your night. Get some sleep. Try to be safe. Like I said, just make sure you have a way to receive warnings and stuff like that, like a weather radio. If you have one, make sure it's on. Make sure it has good battery, stuff like that. But all right, everybody. Thanks y'all so much for joining. We love you guys. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, my friends. See ya later on.